I see. Something went off with my camera for some reason. Okay, it's back. Switch it again. Okay. All right, Dan, I can see your background.
Okay, cool.
Dan, are you planning to give an intro or just directly starting with your app?
I got no intros.
Intros, right?
I'll just, hey, this is Daniel. I'm a Microsoft MVP. I think Rory is going to do a little bit of intro.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll be good. Just to keep it fun and informal. I was thinking it through last night, and I need to do a little bit of intro on the app. So I'll open up the studio and I'll show what is a timer. I'll also show how I can use timer and trigonometric functions to do some things. I'm going to spend at least first 5 minutes on that.
Okay.
And then the remaining 10 minutes, I'll work on some of the app demos that I have. But
okay.
I think it helps to show that PowerApps even has these functions and how you leverage it. Usually Trig has the theta, but in this case, we don't use theta, we use the timer.
Right.
So at least if I can set that, it should help.
In my case, I think I'm just planning to first show the app and its features, what it has. Then I think the next step is going to be how easy it is to deploy it. I'll actually export it and import it in a different tenant and show it to them how they can also go ahead and do the same thing in order to go ahead and play the app. And then I would show them how to add their own characters into the app. And that's where I'm going to include us in the game, as well as I've got some Disney characters that I downloaded from the web, which is obviously not royalty free. But I don't want to get into that into this call, but I'll say, hey, just as an example, you can upload any image of your choice and I'll show them how. And that's about it. I think I'm going to keep it really simple because Rory wanted me to focus on little kids.
Exactly.
Although kids are way smarter than us, but still, we'll try. You in touch with Rory right now?
I'm not.
No.
Probably trying to get in.
Yeah, he has to do that. He'll have to sign into Teams with the account under which.
I'm in touch with Rory now. If you go into the Q&A, into the new section,
The new section, yeah.
I'm having a conversation with him, but I'm trying to dial him in and it's not working. And maybe you might have some suggestions, because I believe you both had problems before with this.
Sign into Teams. So you sent the invite to Rory on which email?
It was on the same email that we did the test one on last week.
Sign into my Outlook and just see what the invite had. PowerApps for big kids and little kids. Who was on this? Reply to all. Come on, Rory. What's his email here? This one is his dataspinners.co.uk. Okay, sign into Teams with this. Then switch tenant to Microsoft guest. and click on the Teams meeting link. And about these conversations we are having is private, right?
So these conversations we're having, the attendees can listen in, and anything outside of that we can put into the chat.
Okay.
So you're welcome to mute yourself now if you prefer. But yeah, the attendees can hear our conversations now.
Going on mute. There he is. No audio, Rory. Can you guys hear him?
Nope.
No, I think Rory's just on mute at the moment. So Rory, when you're ready to introduce the session and start sharing, feel free to go ahead.
Okay, can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
Oh wow, and can everyone see me okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, so are we all good to go?
I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, all good to
Okay,
go.
cool. So, and which screen are you guys looking at the moment? You're looking at my PowerApps for Big Kids and Little Kids, yeah?
Correct.
So, Emma, are we live?
Yeah, we're live, Rory.
Fantastic. Okay, so welcome everyone to what I hope will be the first of many PowerApps for Big Kids and Little Kids sessions. I am really excited about this event. I'm really chuffed to have some fantastic presenters with me in the form of Daniel Christian, who I've virtually known for such a long time, and also Reza, who, these guys, I admire them so much, but unfortunately I don't have enough time to say just how great I think they are. The center of this session today is all about kids, and the kind of idea of big kids and little kids is the idea that, I mean, you can see it from the guys already. They like making stuff, and I think I just love the idea of play, and actually PowerApps and play, they just go together like so well. And certainly when when I'm in work and so on, I think there is I want children to be and retain their creativity for as long as they possibly can, and right the way through their lives. So I'm truly excited to talk about and to introduce, be the first person maybe to introduce the children and the adults to PowerApps. So I'm just going to fire this presentation up. Let's see what actually happens. It's not much of a presentation, so it's mainly hands-on. So thank you for joining us. And so we've done the welcome bit. So why we am here? Well, maybe we am here because we don't know how to actually write in proper English. Now, why we're here, I think myself, Daniel, Reza, and so many people in the community are just really passionate about PowerApps. We see that we can do such cool things, and hopefully over the next hour, both the adults and the children will see that we can do cool things with PowerApps. We also want to be that first person to introduce you to it. And maybe the next thing to say is, I'm not going to go into too much detail about what PowerApps are. Essentially, they are apps that you can use on your computer or on your phone, and they come as part, your ability to do this comes as part of the Office 365 suite. And so hopefully by the end of it, you'll understand how to do this. So the idea of what do you need? Well, you definitely need Office 365. If you don't have Office 365, you can't do PowerApps. But you don't need much of Office 365, and many children who have a school version of it have got enough of what they need. So just in terms of how we're going to run through the session, so we have, I think this is right, we've got Reza who's going to show off an app, and I've seen under the hood of this app. It's called Power Memory, and it is a beautifully prepared app that can work on a mobile phone, and he's going to show us how to use that. We're going to follow that up with Daniel. He's going to do two apps. I actually only wrote one down here. He's got the solar system app, and he's also got a maths related app. And then finally, I'm going to show you an app that I put together to help children to write stories with a Power App. And then we're just going to finish off. So just look at the time. We're 6 minutes in, and so Reza, if it's okay, I'm going to hand over to you at this point.
Sure. Just to confirm, my audio is fine, and I am presenting my screen right now.
Sure.
Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen. And anyone who wants to chat, please, we love the chat. We want to hear about, you know, little waves, anything. Be great.
All right, so I'm going to get started with my presentation for today. This is a very simple memory game built in PowerApps, also known as Match, also known as Pairs, wherein you match cards in a game in a stipulated amount of time. I built this specifically keeping in mind my nephews who play a lot of games online, and I gave this a shot in PowerApps, and I was myself surprised at the kind of things you can make in PowerApps in a very short span of time. And most of the graphics in this game are inspired by my wife and my nephews. So I'm going to get started with the game. This game is of course built in PowerApps. I have called this Power Memory because the name PowerApps and the name of the game Memory. When you sign into the game, the first thing is you get these options to pick the mode of the game that you want to play in. So I'm going to pick the easy level for now, but I can switch between different modes. And if the sound is too loud, Rory, let me know. I can turn the sound off. Going to go ahead and start the game. The moment you click on play, this will take you to a screen which will show you the cards. And then you have a time slot in which you have to match all the cards. So you got to remember the position of the images on the board. And as you can see, I'm not too great at it. And I need to match this within the stipulated time to me. And as quickly, the goal here is match all the cards. When I match the cards, it takes me to a success screen saying, hey, I won. And it also gives me the time that I took to complete that stage. And I can plug my name in to the leaderboard. So you can go ahead and play this game in multiple modes. You can play it in easy mode, or you can make it medium or harder, or you can go to an expert level. And you can have leaderboards for each of these modes that you can play with your friends. Now, if I head over to another mode, just to show you how complex the game then becomes, you get a lot more cards that you got to choose from. And that's how simple the game is. You just have a stipulated amount of time. You have 4 different modes to choose from, and you got to beat the game in that stipulated amount of time. And also challenge your friends and family members to beat it in the shortest amount of time. That is one facet of the game. To keep it more interesting, we also went ahead and included something challenges. So not just beating or not just playing the game in different modes, but you can unlock new characters to show up as part of the game just to make it even more interesting. And to win each of these characters, there are certain custom challenges thrown at you. So in this scenario, if I need to win this cute looking Batgirl character, I need to win the game in easy level within 40 seconds. So if I play this, it will take me back to the challenge. And this time I got to win this in 40 seconds. If I do, I will be able to win the cute little girl and add it to the game. So you can see I'm not too great at this game yet, but I'm trying to quickly win this for you. All right, come on. All right. And if I match it and if I win it, I am able to this character, and now this character will be available as part of my game to play. So that's about for the gameplay. It's very simple, right? You pick your level, match your cards, beat the time, challenge your friends, and then at the same time go and unlock new characters as part of this game.
And all of these apps that we're presenting today are available for the attendees to download. So I've put a link in the chat to show where they can download it from. And I'm just working on getting the link for Daniel's apps up. So by the end of the session, we should have all of the links up.
So here's an example of the links that Rory was talking about. And I also wanted to showcase how easy it is for you to deploy this app in your environment, so you can get started with this literally within a matter of seconds. So in order for me to download this app, if you go to the link provided in the chat window, and I'm sure we will make this available after this call as well, this will take you to my GitHub repository. And within this repository, there's a zip file called Power Memory. If you click on this, you can go ahead and download this. So you have the file downloaded on your system. Now, if you want to deploy this in your environment, so what I will do now in this case, let's say I have an Office 365 PowerApps environment. All I have to do is go to PowerApps, go to import, and go and upload that zip file that I downloaded from my GitHub repo. That's all I got to do. Just download the GitHub zip file repository for the app, and you got to do the same things for all the other apps that are going to be shared today as well. So the pattern is going to be the same for you. And once you do that, you can just install the app. And once the app is installed, you can just click on import, and the app is ready for you to use in a different environment. So it's literally 3 clicks to deploy the app. Now, if you notice in this environment, my characters are different in the game. I have more Disney based characters, as you can see. And the reason for that is because you also have the power to change the images and include other characters in the game. So for example, if you look at the challenges for this game, they are different. I have superheroes this time that you need to win as part of the challenges. So you don't have to stick to the images that I have provided in the game, but rather you can change them within the game to actually go ahead and include your own images, maybe your own family members, your pets, right? And let me show you how you can go ahead and do that. So once I have the app installed in my system, if I edit this app, changing the images is relatively straightforward. So in my scenario, I have already pre-created certain characters that I would like to use as part of this game. So all I have to do in order to include these characters as part of the game is go to File tab in PowerApps, and there's a storage space in PowerApps called Media. All those images that are a part of the game are listed right here, and they have some naming standards that I have acquired for the game. It starts with F1 and goes all the way to F50. Those are the 50 images that are a part of the game. Any image that you would like to replace as part of this game, all you have to do is just browse the new image that you have and just upload that image in here. That's all you got to do, and that image becomes a part of your game. So if you want the pack that I am using as part of this app, I will also share the link in the chat window. These are basically all characters from Disney that I have also incorporated here. So if you would like to use this, feel free to do so. Additionally, just take pictures of your family, friends, and you can plug them in to the game right here as well. So that's how easy it is for you to make modifications to the app.
So for that to work, they would need to rename, they need to delete one of them and rename it as like F30 or
Correct.
Something like that.
Correct. So let's say in this example, I go to the Browse tab, and let's say I go to my folder where I have these images, and let's say I want to include myself as part of the game. So I have my logo here. Let's say I call this F1, right? I'm going to pick this image, and the moment I try and insert it, it says there's already an image existing, and I'm going to say, please go ahead and replace that image. Now, the moment I do this, you will notice that instead of that previous image, now I am a part of the game, right? So I am a part of the game. Dan, you are a part of the game. Rory, you're a part of the game.
Cool.
And these images get picked up randomly. So at random, it will pick up those characters and push them through as part of the game. So as you notice, if I keep trying this multiple times, maybe my image will show up as part of the game.
Come on. Come on, Reza.
Just keep trying. It's random, I promise. I haven't coded this thing. Come on. All right, let's try and see if I can hard code one character in just for now, just for fun, right? Let's try and see if I can hard code myself as part of the game. All right, so this one I'm going to hard code as F1. All right, and if I run this, let's try and see what happens this time. Let's go to the home screen. All right, something. I don't think it liked me as part of the game for sure.
Yeah.
So that's how easy basically it is to change it. So as long as all you need to do is just go to media and just make sure you upload a file with the same name as before, and it will replace that image with your image in there, or your family's image, or your pet's image, or some other characters that you like. So you can make this game as customizable as you like and include your own characters within this game. So you can go ahead and start matching different characters as part of this game. And that's as easy as it goes.
That's really good fun. And so how old are it's your nephews, isn't it?
So so I have two nephews. One of them is 10 years old. The other one is 12.
Yeah. And did they help you? I will say help you, but did they help you kind of like, did they say things like, oh, can you do this? And, you know, it would do that. And then that helped you to write it?
So the only thing they were interested in is the characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
They made sure I picked they love Disney. So I picked the Disney characters specifically for them. They were very intrigued with the color choices that I chose. They liked a golden background for some reason. So I was like, okay, gold is the order of the day. That's why we chose the golden background. And then if you notice, every challenge that I threw out has a time associated with it. So I wanted to make sure that they tested the system. So I came to know what is the sweet spot in terms of the timing that I have to put out for winning each character. Of course, as the levels go higher, the challenges get tougher and tougher. Yeah. So I kind of put it in a sweet spot so that it's not too easy for them. And on the other side, it's not too hard for them as well.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So have you got any more? So just for the purposes of the people watching, Emma, we will be making the video associated with this available at a later date. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So this session is being recorded and we'll hopefully have it on our YouTube channel towards the end of the week. So the best way to find it is if you signed up on our meetup group, I'll post the link there.
Yeah. Okay. So Reza, thank you so much for doing that. That was an excellent demo. It's a really polished app. I have used it, so I've seen it. So it's just really nicely done under the hood. So have you got any other points on there, or are you happy to hand over to Daniel at this point?
No, I think I am done. I will share a link for the Disney character so that people don't go and download it from all the places. I've already done the groundwork. So I'll put a link in the chat window for everyone to consume the Disney pack. And of course, the link to the app as well. So yeah, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And I hope kids have a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for that. I didn't properly give you the chance to introduce yourself. So how long have you been working with PowerApps for?
So I'm now a business applications MVP and on the Power Platform. For me, it's been around 3 years now with the Power Platform. I know it doesn't sound a lot, but 3 years in PowerApps is a long time.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not been around for very long, has it really? That's probably just about its whole life.
Yeah, no, probably a little more. I think Dan must be one of the first people who took to PowerApps. So for me, it's been 3 years now.
Well, that's probably a good point at which to hand over to Daniel and say, so Daniel, you're possibly, you're I'm going to say guru, but like those Chinese men that's on the top of a mountain somewhere that's been meditating for many hours. That's kind of that's you. And how long have you been power apping for? Oh,
I've been power apping for 4 years, and that's professionally. I did get into it when it was still in preview, so that's those 4 years. And it was in its infancy at that time, so I gave the people who build it, they're called as product groups. I was giving a lot of feedback to fix these bugs which were there. What we see it today is just leaps and bounds, so much better than what it was, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's a great place to be. I can't think of many changes they've made where I thought it was worse than what it was before. So the thing for the people watching is that we're in the middle of something that's getting better and better, but hopefully it's also hopefully we'll see some things that are simple that you guys can use. So Daniel, I'm very excited for you to show off some of your creations.
Sure. So I have about 15 minutes and I've got some few apps to show, but what I thought was I'll go ahead and start with something very simple to at least walk you through what it is. And then as I build on these things and when I show you my apps, it'll just click that, oh, this is how that app works. So I really like what Reza did because he kind of set the foundation that this is all that you can use. But I'm going to start from scratch. So what we have over here is called the studio. And in the studio is where we do all the designing, because in the studio is a canvas, and this is where we paint the app, because that's what you do on a canvas, you paint. So let me show you, a key thing of what I'm going to do today. And one of them is I'm going to get this timer control.
Yeah.
And this timer control, as the name goes, that's all it does, is it records time. So I'm going to go and make this nice and big. And now if I go and play it, you'll actually see that it's just like a time clock. It's just ticking. That's all it's doing. And then if I go ahead and grab, say, a label, which is just another place to display the timer, I'm going to go and now start getting the values of the timer. So it's a timer 4.value. Now, for every 1 second you see over here, it actually comes up to 1,000 values over here. So let me go ahead and show you that as well. So For this one, by default, the value is 60,000. I'm just going to change that to 5,000. And 5,000 literally means 5 seconds. So watch now. If I go over here and click on it, over here, this is only going to run for 5 seconds. But over here, you're going to see that thing go really fast. Watch. See how fast it goes? Because it's running for 5,000. Even though it's just 5 seconds, over here it's 5,000. So that's the importance. I kind of want you to see this, what the basic of these timer controls, because a lot of these gaming apps that we build depends a lot on this. That there's a lot of timing activity going on in the back end, and that's how this is done, is this timer control. So let's actually go ahead and take a look at other ones, right? So now what I've done is I've gone ahead and put this same timer control, same value over here, but I'm going to take this effect over here and play with some trigonometry, the sine, cosine, and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first go ahead and apply just a simple sine function. So it's sine, and this apps, PowerApps, comes with the ability to do this trigonometric functions as well. So what I'm going to do is I put in the sine. It's a trigonometric function, sine, S-I-N-E. You can also do cosine, but in trigonometry, you use something called as theta, which is the degrees. In this case, we just use something called as the timer. So here, the timer is 2, so that's going to do that. Timer 2, go ahead and grab that, get its value, and now that is going to be out of theta. So now I'm just going to click and see what happens. Just going to click on this. This guy is going over here. If you see, I'm going to magnify this. This one is actually moving a little bit. So yeah, it's playing around, but not a whole lot. So let's go ahead and kind of magnify that a little bit. All right, so I'm going to come over here, I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to really expand on that. I'm going to go 100 times and expand on that. And now let's see what's happening, right? Click on it. Now you can really see that thing go crazy. So that's the beauty of it, because remember, we went ahead and took the timer, which is just the clock, and it's recording time for us. But now when I factor in some trigonometry, you get some really good activities over there. So you see that the happy face is just going crazy. But let's not stop over there, right? Because all I did was I played around with the X over there. Now I'm going to actually take the exact same thing. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to also play with the Y coordinates. Just paste it over here. So now let's see what's going on. I'm going to see, so it actually goes now in an angle, because that's how when you do the two sine functions, they actually go into this angle. So now you see how the trigonometry is actually playing in over there. The one last thing I want to show you is that when you can switch this over from a sine to a cosine, watch what happens. It actually goes in a circular fashion. That's the beauty of that. So now if I were to kind of show you another example, because you've seen this, you've seen how the trig function works over here. So if I come to this example that I have over here and I just click on it, you can see that one's just going this way, that way, horizontally, and the other one is spinning in circle using the same trigonometric functions over there. So now that you understand the basic mathematics behind all of this that's going on, let me show you some of the fun apps that I can build with that. So here's a very simple one, and I call it the circular dots. And what you see over here is actually 8 dots. But 8 dots, there are 8 timers over there in the back end, and it's doing all those trigonometric functions all at the same time. There's a lot of churning of numbers and data going on. So I'm going to go and start and see what happens. This is going to mess with your mind a little bit, because see what it looks like? It looks like a circle, which is just like a ball rolling inside it. So it's messing with your mind, because it looks like it's a circle and it's just rolling. It looks like a circular ball rolling inside this big circle. But watch this. If I go ahead and now highlight it, all they are doing is just working on a line. It's your mind that's messing with it. But check the other thing out, right? It's this one going up and down. Its X coordinate is always still, because if you look at it, it's not going this way. It's just going up and down. So that's why the Y coordinate is messing over there. Well, let me jump to number 5. It's switched. See, the Y coordinate stays that way, but the X is going crazy. So let's go and pick something else. You see this one? It is also going in the straight line. I mean, all 8 of them are just going in a straight line up and down, but the way it looks and the way it presents, it's kind of messing with your mind over there. And to make it even more easier, if I actually go and hide these off, then all you see is that one, and see, it's just now suddenly your mind doesn't mess with you anymore, because all you see is just one. But that's the beauty of PowerApps, and that's the beauty of playing with those math behind it, the trigonometric functions over there. So what happens is I can actually go and now do some really crazy things. I can go ahead and first I'll bring all of them back, and watch this. It's like, whoa, what just happened over there? That looks crazy. I don't know what's going on, but it's all possible using simple mathematics over there. I'll go and do something else. I'll go ahead and now click on this one, and that looks a little more weirder too, but it's all basic mathematics. You're just playing around with it. And then there's another one. It's just randomly kicking off and playing with things and all of that. So keeping in mind, remember, I just taught you how to do some trigonometric functions over there, and we were able to mess around with some of these things. So I now am able to take that same exact formula, and the same idea as what Rory did over there. What Reza did was taking some images. I actually, thanks to PowerApps, was able to build my own solar system. So check this out. Again, we've got the sun, and we've got our Mercury right there. So I'm going to start clicking on start, and it does the rotation using the sine and the cosine that I just showed you over there. Now I can go and bring all the other planets in too, see? Then I start click on Venus, now Venus comes in. Now Venus is a little bit further away, so its distance from the sun is a little bit more, its speed is a little bit more, and I can go and start getting all these other planets over here. See, that's the beauty of PowerApps over here, and that's the beauty because there's no coding involved whatsoever. I was just able to put in simple mathematics over there. Well, it's not that simple, but trigonometry and sine and cosine. For those kids who know how to use it, they're already one step ahead of us. But I was just able to go and factor that in and build some cool stuff. So this was just the highlight of using simple mathematics and then playing with some really cool things over here. So let me now switch.
Cool. Really, really cool, Dan.
It is, and the thing is, it's a fun playing app, but it gives you the functionality to use real mathematics. And using mathematics just applied to make some fun things over there. It's a fun math. So you do get the best of both worlds. And I was playing with some trigonometric functions over there, getting that nice value of the angle or the theta sign. But I was able to use the timer to kind of tweak my speed because I got to factor all of that in, right? The planet which is closest, it goes through its revolutions a little bit more faster. The other ones are a little bit more slower. I can play around with all of that using that timer function. All right, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and this would be actually a little bit nicer for the parents because now using this, I was able to actually build my own homeschool math test so that I build the test and I can hand it over to my kids and they can take the test. Now my oldest is almost 10, so he's at a 3rd grade level. So I was able to test some of this. In fact, I saw the paper sheets that I would print out for him. I was able to see what those sheets were like, that he needed some place to do some working over there. And I was able to build that over here. So app is opened up by the parent. Parent goes ahead and says, okay, this is going to be an addition type of test. I was going to select on addition. So this immediately shows up. And now the parent is going and building the test. So I'm going to say the next step is I'm going to make it do a 1 plus, say 1, and I'm going to submit that. So that question is submitted. Let's go and do a 10 plus 13, go ahead and submit that. Go ahead and do a 20 plus 20, go ahead and submit that. And now the parent is done building the test, right? Now I click to complete. And what happens is now the child or the student is going to go take the test. So click on start. And now you have the functionality for 2 things. A couple of things are going on. It's recording the time, and if your child gets nervous or, if that is distracting, you can go and hide that. Nothing big deal, but it'll still record the time. The other key thing is it gives your kid the flexibility to go ahead and do all the work that he or she wants to do. Like, if there's a 3-4 digit numbers, you want to do a carryover, if there's a 10, carry over the ones, it gives you all that flexibility over here. And once you've got the answer, you just come over here, you click on 2, same thing I'm going to do over here, 3, this is a 2, make sure I've got the math done, 23, same thing over here, yep, that's 40. And if I'm going ahead, I'll say, I'm done, click there, are you sure? Yes. And I say, click to review, I'm going to click on review. And right in there, it's also already gone ahead and done the math. So the parent doesn't even have to go and do the math, because if you're like me, it's like, my kid's math is actually much better than mine. I'm going to steal the calculator to do that. No, you don't even have to do all of this. You cannot. The app does it for you. And if there was any mistakes, it would actually, put a red X over there, and then it would also go ahead and tell you what the correct answer is. So that is the beauty of making this app, because I actually took a lot of ideas from my 3-year-old. That he needs to do a little bit of addition over there. He needs a place to actually do some working on his sheet, and I provided all of that directly in the app. So now, if all of you have now finally noticed that I am wearing a Baby Yoda shirt over here, which means now it's Lego time. Plus, you can see my Lego friends are behind me, and I've also got 2 of my little minifigures over here. They always give me all the motivation that I need. I'm going to jump over to my Lego app. So I'm going to go and refresh the app. And what happens is that when the app opens up, there's some fun things going on over here. Basically, the screen just goes ahead and says that, hey, this is powered by PowerApps. And then it goes ahead and slides into the new app over here. Now, this was an app that I've built for the Lego Mixel series. Now, if you notice, some of you are diehard Lego fans like I am, the Mixel series is actually gone. It got replaced by the Lego Brickheads, but I'm still a fan of the Mixel series. I've got a whole bunch of them over here as well. So what happens is now I can go and pick and choose. By default, it's the first series, and it tells me everything about those series. You know, all the ones over here. I can click on it, and I'm doing all of this just with the app. I can go and pick on the other series as well. And same idea as Reza told you that he was able to already have the images over there. That's the exact same thing I did. I already had all the images. This is what we call as a gallery, and I can go and pick and choose on that. Say if you're a parent who is going to the store, then you also want to see the cost over there. But say if you're a store manager and the store manager is saying, well, this new series has come out. It's a little pricey. Ooh, that's interesting. It's a little pricey. So what I want to do is I want to actually hide that cost. So then I can just come over here. I can go to the settings, and in the settings, I'm going to go ahead and just hide the cost. So that really helps from that store manager perspective to go and get the parents and obviously the children excited to buy this new series over there, but we're hiding the cost so that, child's already liked it, parents made the decision to buy it, and then they it's like, oh man, this thing costs about $12, but hey, the decision's already been made. But I want to show you this one last thing, and I'm going to make sure I actually go directly into the app so I can show you that.
You got plenty of time there, Daniel. It's good.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to do is I actually want to get into the app just to make sure that I've shown that, because the final thing I wanted to show in this piece over here was Lego is known across the world. So there's a couple of things people might like. The fact that you want the flexibility in the app to change the colors over there. You also want to make sure that everybody can use the app, which means everybody should be able to read the app. So I've factored in a few other playing things as well. So I'm going to come in here. The app opens up, and now once the app opens up, I'm going to go into the settings over here, and in the settings, I'm going to go ahead and start changing the colors. Like today, red is the normal for PowerApps. I'm going to change it to blue. So now the entire app goes ahead and changes that color. Everything changes over here. I can go over here, I can come back and change it to green. That also works. But remember, Lego is played across the world. So everybody needs that flexibility, not just to use the app, but read everything in the app. So one of the things that I've done is I've made sure that I've put in a language translation. Now, right now, there's a flexibility of 80 some languages. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to pick on, say, French. And if you've noticed, across the entire app, the language has changed. I can go back and image.
I love the idea of making things multilingual.
I do too. And when the idea came out, I said, yeah, I'm gonna definitely adopt that. Hindi is another one. We can go and do that. I bet you Reza can even start reading this one over here. See, all of this shows up over here. Let's even pick it.
Are they hard coded, those translations into your?
There's something with the whole concept of artificial intelligence and machine learning. There is something called as language translation. Okay. It's part of the Microsoft's artificial intelligence technology, where you can go ahead and take any language, throw it to the artificial intelligence language translation, and you tell it that I want you to take this language, translate that into the other language. And it does that with 80 different languages. So that's what I did. I was starting it off with English, went ahead and translated that to French. I took French and I was able to translate that into Hindi. And now I'm going to take Hindi, I'm going to translate that over to something really interesting. Let's go to traditional Chinese. Now, even that translates. So if you notice what I've been doing is I didn't just, pick a language, went back to English, then picked another language, went back to English. I kept jumping around different languages. And the artificial intelligence was able to do the languages at all different waveforms over there for us. So that was actually the beauty of just playing around. And if you've noticed finally at the end, this whole sliding thing, it's the same thing I did with the X using the timer function and playing around with the X and the Y over there. Just same way I showed you over here is the beauty of going ahead and building the apps with the solar system and all of that. Exact same thing I did. So it's hopefully this gets you excited, because all we were able, building the first app that I built was just showing you that there was a little clock, and all that clock does is it keeps it keeps track of the time which is ticking. But I was able to take that time and I was able to attach it to a trigonometric function, which is the sine and the cosine. And taking the time using the sine and cosines, I was able to actually play around with that happy face, moving it around, just going in one direction, going in a circle, and how I was able to take that and build the entire solar system type of an app. It all starts with something simple. You work on it, you build on it, you're able to achieve some great stuff without using a single line of code. So how about that, huh?
That's amazing. So I think there was probably the difference between the first, or well, maybe the in the mathematics app, the one in the maths app, that was a standalone app, wasn't it?
It is a standalone app, so which means
what that means is, so once you've done the questions and you reopen the app, you'd then have to put in a bunch of extra questions and so on, which is fine. But the Lego app is actually connected to a data source, is that right?
No, the Lego is also completely, I take that back. The Lego one is connected to a data source where all my images are being stored and all of that. So yes, it is connected to a data source. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. So this is a complete standalone.
Yeah, and it's these are that's absolutely fascinating. The way they move is so smooth. I'm really looking forward to having a look at that one. It's a great job, especially when they go above the line. That's quite, I can't quite get my head around how it, because there's these X and Y locations, and that one kind of goes above the Y is 0, I would have thought. So cool.
Yep.
Have we had any questions come through on this so far? What are your thoughts on this, Reza? It's sort of, I think the maths in this is quite interesting.
It is extremely interesting, and in fact, I was just thinking the first app that Dan showed around trigonometric functions, you can even include that in a second app, which is the math app, wherein he does simple additions and subtractions. Well, guess what? Now you can use sine functions and cosine functions, and you can go all out and build as complex as a mathematics quiz as you want for your kid. And you can leverage the entire suite of functions available within PowerApps for you within his app. And I know Dan stores his data locally within the app right now. Nothing stops him from connecting that to a data source. And then you can post the results of your child to a data source, and you can track his progress as well. So I think that can be extended to much greater heights as well. But already what he's built is a great example of a template that you can pick and expand it further.
Brilliant. So we're at 40 minutes into the presentation. Look, if there are any people in the that are attendees that have got any questions, please let us know. And and even if it's outside of it, we'll find a way to so that you can drop us out a question later on. We'd be very happy to do that. And in fact, although we're app builders, we don't always know what people want, so we just kind of build things that we want. So but you've probably got some great ideas as well. I call them toys, actually. They just happen to be toys that take a long time to build. Okay, so is it okay if I pick up on I've got a few bits and pieces to show you guys? So I've got this. Oh, I better start sharing actually. So thanks so much for that, Daniel. I know what it takes to build apps, and I know that there's an awful lot of love that's been put into those apps. So, you know, congrats on doing that. Well done. So I'm going to move on to my to show you some bits and pieces that I've done. I don't know if that's actually showing is that showing my screen there?
Yes.
It is. I can see it.
Good. Well, funny enough, this isn't actually the app that I'm going to show you, but the reason I showed you, I've got this one up, is that I did something similar to what Daniel did in terms of the translations, and I wrote this poem, and I thought it'd be interesting. I've got the internet isn't the fastest of internet for me at the moment, by the way, and so this particular app has got translated versions of a particular poem. So rather entertainingly, it's actually gone directly into this. So I don't even know what language the thing will be coming up in. But this particular thing is just this idea of stories and so on. And so this is a poem here. This won't be translated, and I know it definitely won't be. Oh, look, yeah. So actually, it just so happens this one's been translated into Chinese and so on. But the idea is that you can jump through different steps. And I think that for me, I just love the idea of stories. So when I was going to do this presentation, where I started, the reason why I showed you that picture of it's a Yu-Gi-Oh character. And I wanted to show off this. Has anyone played Yu-Gi-Oh? Does anyone heard of it? Okay, so basically it's a card game. It's one of these playing card games, and so it's my deck against your deck, and they have different powers and things like that. And so I wrote an app which allowed me and my daughter to tot up the numbers without having to get our calculators out. It was quite good fun. But when I started preparing for this session, I thought, you know, it'd be really fun if I could make the simplest possible way of enabling the children here to be able to write their own story. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go directly from the website. I'm going to download the app, and then I'm going to load it up, and then we're going to start to have a little look at it, because I think that this reinforcement is really important. So here I go to this PowerApps Kids. I'm going to link to the download file, and it takes me off to this funny place called GitHub. It's just, and the thing that amazed me about this was that Microsoft paid about £7 billion for this. So it sounds really like odd, but actually it's a great place. So then I click download, click the download button, and that's similar to what happened with Reza. And I'm going to click this Story Maker 2. It's just going to be in my downloads. And now it's downloaded, and now I can go back. I always like to go from Office 365 when I'm showing people what to do. Then I click on PowerApps, and it'll fire up PowerApps for me. Just bear in mind, if you can't see PowerApps, just try and search at the top and just type in the word power at the top, because it might not always show. And if it does show, then you're good to go. So this might take a while to whiz around, so I might let that just spin around for a bit. But yeah, here we go. Now the place that you need to go to, I'm going to get it. I have actually put a link to it on the site. So if you look, oh, have I put a link to it? I meant to put a link to it, but you need to go to, I'm hoping it's going to take me there, us.create PowerApps Studio. I'll put that link in there. It'll redirect me out to Europe anyway. But the reason I'm showing you this is because then I get to open the app very easily, and I want to make sure that people in the audience can actually get to it. By the way, my internet is very, very slow at the moment, but it gets me to this screen here, and then I click open, and at that point you can see it's bumped me onto this EU create. So I suspect that in the US it'll be us.create, and in the EU it's something, and then over in Australia it's probably something else. So it's going to whir away. and I'm waiting for the open thing to, then I go to open, then I go to browse, and then I'm going to browse to the thing I just opened, which is the Story Maker 2. Then I'm going to click open, and this is almost it. I'm almost finished at this point. So it's going to do the getting things ready, but that's all you need to do in order to get to the same point as I'm at. Now, this particular app is all about Story Maker, and the thing I really wanted to do was I went for an iPad shaped app, so that when you have got this on your iPad, it's going to look absolutely beautiful. It will just fill the screen absolutely perfectly. So this is my story app, and the purpose of this story app is to enable you to create or children to create stories as simply as is absolutely possible. So I'm going to play my story. It is the world's dumbest story. I literally got a bunch of photos together and I made it up as I went along. So here we go. I'm going to now just notice I'm going up to the top right hand side. I'm clicking play. So I'm previewing the app. So what happens with this app is you click on the first image and then you get to page 1. Now I have done all of the pages for you, so you're good to go. So once upon a time, and all you do is you go next, next, next. So once upon a time, there was a beautiful village. Now, the thing that's fun on this is there's actually a river in there, and I've got a little river sound. It might not come through, by the way, but believe me, there is a river sound. So I'll press the play. Sounds like I've left the tap on. But what you can do is you can put your own sounds into it. So there was a beautiful village. It was said that the flamingos would come here every day, every year, that sort of thing. And they were the loveliest of creatures. But the mayor of the town disagreed. And then I did this mysterious door opening. I just found a door opening thing. And he wanted for the birds to be cooked in the wood. Right, it's so loud. I'm gonna have to turn that off. But the idea is that it's simply the idea is that you can write this story. This is up to you. You can put your own photos. So you remember that bit where Reza showed how you can put your own photos into the app. You can put your own photos in. This can be your story. This could be a photo of you with Granny who you can't see at the moment. You could make her an app. How cool would that be? And then she could have photos and remember a story. It could be a recipe for how you do pancakes or something. It doesn't matter. It could be something amazing about the solar system. So it's up to you how this story goes. And then there's magical tree could help. What's happening in these ruins? So all these images are actually inside the app. And then I just kind of go to the end. But what you'll notice is that if I click next, 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 the page number is clicking up all the time. So you can just change it as you wish. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how you can actually change this story around. So I'm going to go up to the top here and I'm going to close the preview. So what we have here is this is page 1. Now every page is the same pretty well. So once upon a time. So here we are on our first screen, but I've done this in a particular way to make it easy for you. And so what you do is you hit the drop down and you could change the image. So once upon a time, we're going to change the image. We're going to change the story. So let's go on to page 2 now. We're going to go on to there. Once upon a time. OK, well, let's change this to be the ruins then. There was some I don't know, traveler came across some ruins on his journey to see, I don't know, his mum. We'll keep it safe because his mum. And we'll just click enter on that. Now notice that the text looks a bit weird to start with, but if you come off it and go back onto it, it all sorts itself out. All I'm showing you here is that you can change this story. You can make it whatever you want. And if you want the story sound to be different, you can actually make it the jungle sound. And so you could change it around. And so there's a few things that you can do. And the other thing that you can do is if you're writing a really long story, I only write little short stories, but you can make the size of the text smaller. So you might want to write a really long story, make the story the size of the text shorter. So what I'm trying to do is to get you guys into PowerApps by giving you the ability to write a story. Now, the one final thing I want to show you is that when you get to your last page, say, for example, this was your last page, then what you would do is you would go on to the navigation thing and make sure that the next screen, just make sure that the next screen is, I think I've got an ending screen page, the end. So screen, oops, the end. No, screen page, the end. And what that means is the very next page will be the end of the story. So you click here, the end, and when you click on this one, it takes you back to the start again. So as I say, I wanted to make the simplest possible way of a child writing a story. And I just want to remind you how easy it is to change, to put a new image in here. So I'm going to go File, Media, Images. I'm going to browse. I literally don't know what image you're going to find here. In fact, there's Giant's Causeway. So Tower Bridge. Yeah, go for Tower Bridge. It's actually a very weird angle of Tower Bridge, by the way. So if I go open on that, it might appear at the bottom. There's Tower Bridge. So what I can do now is I'm going to go on to the page 1 again, and I'm going to go on to this little CMP thing. And instead of it being the ruins, I'm going to put Tower Bridge in. That's how simple it is. I can't make it any simpler. So, you know, this could be photographs of you and the family. It could be a photo. You could write a little story about what happened when you were up there, and you could. And what you can do now is you can then do things like you can insert an image, but you can make it you can make it on top, which is a little bit different. So you could basically go and get a little picture of yourself. You can actually put yourself up there. So maybe we should do that. Let's just have a look at the time. Probably not. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go onto the image, and I'm going to go and find one of the images. So I can't remember the name of the images. So I'm going to click on the media. I'm just going to put, I don't know, I'll put the flamingo. We'll put the flamingo up there. So there it is there. And I'm just going to type in flamingo. Oh, hold on, flamingo. So that means my flamingo is going to be there, and I can move it around the place. So you can do whatever you want to do with that. So you can actually take the story and make it better than my story by putting new things in, as well as the main photo. You can have extra bits and pieces. So so that kind of brings us to the end of the presentations and so on. I'm going to stop presenting now, I think, so that I can sort of get all of the guys onto the screen. So anything appeared on the chat whilst I was looking up and so on?
There's a lot of compliments, and then if any questions came in, Reza and I were answering them, but mostly Brilliant. Compliments.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, you know, this little session, I think we were all ready for this session. I don't know about you, Daniel and Reza. You know, I think this is of its time, isn't it? This is the right time for the right session. What I would like to do is I would like to invite the people on the call to use that story making app to write some stories and then save the app and then submit it to us, as in maybe send it to me. I'll put my email on the as part of the announcement piece, and then what I can do then is I can, what I can do then is we can then make those amazing apps that you've built available to anyone else to download. How amazing would that be? We could put it onto that GitHub thing. What do you guys think? Would that be a cool thing to do?
I think that's a great idea.
And how amazing would it be for children to be able to make their own app? And obviously, you know, if it's going to be something you're going to share with a lot of people, then you know you would want to make sure the photos were the story is the right kind of story. But you know, you'd obviously ask your parents about that. So a bit of judgment there. But what I think, how long do you think, Daniel and Reza, that we should give them to maybe work on this? Bear in mind they can't go out of the house, and
it should not be going out of the house.
Tomorrow morning, maybe. No, I'm wondering if we give them, like, maybe give them a week to send us things in, and then maybe we'll have a little bit of time to have a look at what's been sent in. Does that sound? Does that sound like a plan? Maybe what we So maybe we give it till next week, and then just see what people come up with. Brilliant. So we're at the top of the hour. Daniel and Reza, once again, thank you so much for coming on to this what I hope is first of many of PowerApps for Big Kids and Little Kids. Emma, thank you to the Reactor for having us along. It's been a pleasure, and thank you to all the attendees. I truly hope you've enjoyed yourself here.
Surely did.
Great. Thank you very much, Rory, for organising everything. And we've seen lots of Q&A come through, lots of really good comments. And like I said, the video will be available on the Meetup group towards the end of the week.
Brilliant. Okay.
Great.
Well, so Emma, in terms of what does it happen on? Does it go onto a YouTube channel?
Yeah, so it's our Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel. So
Yeah.
I'll share the link once the video is up there. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, well, and what I'll do for the audience, what I will probably do is put a form onto the Big Kids Little Kids thing on my website, and then if people want to get updates or find out whenever the next thing is going on, they can use that as like a way of signing up to get news about it. I just haven't had time to do it so far. Brilliant. Well, thanks everyone. That's probably the first time I've done anything to time. So I think we should call it a day. Once again, thank you very much. Thanks Emma, thanks Reactor, and thanks everyone for showing up for this.
Thank you.
Thanks
Rory.
everyone.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye guys.